Welcome to today's Deep Dive. I'm your host, and I'm here with our expert to unpack some really intense notes on a wave of highly sensitive, gender-based laws down in Mexico.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. It's definitely a complex and politically charged debate right now.
Right. And, to be totally clear right up front, our mission for you listening isn't to take a side or endorse any specific viewpoints.
Exactly.
We're just trying to impartially map out the severe friction we found in the sources. The friction between protecting victims of horrific crimes and maintaining the foundational presumption of innocence.
It's a really tough balance.
It is. I mean, the notes actually set up the stakes by comparing the Mexican justice system to walking a tightrope in a hurricane.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's apt.
Right,
Yeah.
because you're trying to perfectly balance this fragile individual due process while getting absolutely battered by an overwhelming systemic crisis of violence.
A hurricane is exactly what it is. Because to understand the pushback against these laws, we first have to, really look at the extreme environment that forced them into existence.
The sheer scale of the violence.
Yeah, the sources paint a really staggering reality. Mexico currently faces 10 femicides a day. Every single day.
Jesus. 10 a day.
Yeah. And that's compounded by an impunity rate of like 95 to 99%.
Wait, 99%. So literally almost no one is actually punished.
Barely anyone. So reformers realized they couldn't just, target murder alone. They had to target the whole ecosystem of abuse.
Right, attacking it from multiple angles.
Exactly. So that birthed specific reforms. Like Ley Olimpia, which was named after a victim, Olympia Coral Mello. That one penalizes the non-consensual sharing of intimate media.
Oh, okay. So dealing with digital privacy and revenge porn.
Right. And then you have Ley Ingrid, which bans sharing graphic victim images to stop, basically media morbidity. And Ley Valeria, which targets child sex abusers with penalties that never expire.
So no statute of limitations on that one.
None at all. These laws were drafted to protect basic human rights in a system that, quite frankly, historically ignored these victims entirely.
Okay, so if these laws were designed to stop such clear, undeniable harm, exact, specific abuses, where exactly does the legal friction start?
Well, the friction ignites when those really well-intentioned laws collide with the actual mechanical realities of an under-equipped justice system.
How so?
So courts are now increasingly instructed to adopt a gender perspective, which legally mandates them to view evidence while explicitly considering female vulnerability.
Okay, so mechanically, does that mean the threshold for what counts as proof is lowered?
Pretty much. Critics argue this effectively flips the burden of proof. The constitutional right to the presumption of innocence is kind of sidelined because it clashes with the new rule.
Right, because suddenly the accused has to prove they're innocent.
Exactly, rather than the state having to prove they're guilty.
I want to push back on the scale of that risk for a second, just based on the notes. Because statistically speaking, false accusations represent a really small percentage compared to the massive dark figure of unreported crimes.
Oh, absolutely. The vast majority of these cases are entirely real.
Right, but I guess on an individual level, the notes emphasize this concept of civil death.
Yes, civil death. It's devastating.
Because even if a false accusation is rare, your reputation, your career, your whole personal life is instantly ruined, even if you're totally cleared years later.
Precisely. And because these laws carry such heavy immediate consequences, the sources highlight this disturbing trend where accusations are sometimes, weaponized strategically.
Like in divorce cases.
Yeah, like for quick legal leverage in a bitter divorce or a custody battle.
But the real danger isn't just a ruined reputation. I was shocked by the details in the sources about prison preventiva oficiosa.
Ah, yeah, automatic pretrial detention.
Right, meaning an accused person can spend months or even years locked in a cell before they ever step into a courtroom.
Exactly. Jail time is mandatory the moment an investigation begins for certain sexual crimes. And you have a deficient, sometimes corrupt system that totally lacks the basic investigative tools to filter those false claims from real ones.
Or to penalize perjury.
Right. It's what the sources conclude is a tragedy of conflicting rights.
A tragedy of conflicting rights that perfectly sums it up. You desperately need to empower victims, but you also have to protect the accused from arbitrary imprisonment.
Yeah. For you listening, just try to consider how incredibly difficult it is for any society to build a framework that finally empowers historically ignored victims without, accidentally stripping away those core protections for the accused.
It's an impossible balance.
Yeah.
And we want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over.
Yeah, think about this.
If a society's foundational justice system is already broken or corrupt, is it actually possible for any strict new law to deliver true justice? Or does it inevitably just create a whole new category of victims?